Well, I have to shop tomorrow. Well, Halloween is on. Tuesday. Yeah. Well, it's so. Thank you. So anyway, I just.
Okay, I'll be calling the meeting to order tonight because our lovely voice master of ceremonies is excused. So Billy, if you would do attendance.
Diane, Francis, Joe, Billy, here. Judy.
She's here.
Oh, okay. Diana,
Here.
Katie,
Here.
Kathy, Teresa, Marty.
Hey.
Before we get to the minutes, I'm going to give everybody a really quick update on Alan. So many of you know, and some of you don't know, that he just spent 15 days in the hospital with congestive heart failure. So I'm not giving away any information that most all of us don't already know. But it's Alan. Yeah. So anyway, I've been at his doctor's appointments for the last 2 days. I brought him home from the hospital on Tuesday. His reports have been remarkably good. So he's not here tonight simply because he's fatigued. 15 days in the hospital and not having even getting up and walking around the room. He's just flat out tired. His mind is sharp. Everything's good. He's just tired. Got to give him a week or two to get his stamina back up and a little bit of an appetite. But I just wanted everybody to know that the reports are, like I said, remarkably good. So if you see him, say hi, but you probably won't, so don't. Okay, everybody got the August minutes in front of them? If you would read those, please.
Visiting.
Everybody done? Okay, any additions, corrections, or deletions to the minutes? Joe?
Made a mention of the furniture in the movie room. And I noticed half have been replaced, half haven't been. Is there still more coming?
No.
Okay.
They only replaced exactly what was damaged. Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of accepting as submitted, please raise your hand. Thank you very much. Anybody opposed? Thank you. Joe, and the treasurer's report.
Abbreviated treasurer's report, since we didn't have an executive board meeting, this has been accepted by the executive board. Got two-sided again. Front side is the activity for August. Start with a beginning balance in the bank of 47.31, and we got $150 in as a receivable from the dessert auction. I think that pays it all up. And we spent $145, so we had a net income of $4.55. And an ending balance of 47.51.86. Backside shows that we overspent the office supplies budget by $77. That's per authorization that we got through a board resolution via email.
That's just cost of paper.
That was cost of paper went up.
Any questions?
Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of adoption as submitted, please raise your hand. Anyone opposed? Thank you very much.
Okay.
Fun stuff, fun stuff, fun stuff. John did a DIY air filter demo. Did you want to comment on that at all, John?
Which microphone? We had about 6 people show up, and we assembled a 4-sided filter, and I think people learned some interesting things, but I don't know how many went out and built these things, but at least they know about it. And next time we have another smoke season, they'll have a way to get it done. And also Billy did a demonstration putting filters in her window, which was interesting. That's it.
Thank you, much appreciated. The Labor Day barbecue was interesting. The couple of hiccups with our tanks, but we got through the barbecue just fine. Everything was delicious, and Mike Solak isn't here, but he did a great job once again as our chef at the machine. So we'll look forward to that coming up in the spring again. September 8th was Teresa's first, where is Teresa? There she is. It was her first DJ event, and it had its hiccups, but from what I understand, everybody had a blast, and they were very thankful for the food. So, you know, those are going to get rolling with a little more ease as time goes, and we have a little announcement later about the next one. New resident orientation, I came for the beginning of it. I think I'll let Francis give a little bit of a report of that, about that more when I'm done with my report. I was impressed. I would like to have seen more people here, but I was really happy with the number that showed up. So you do what you can, where you can with what you have, but I'm sure she has some comments about the whole thing. One thing that I will bring up really quickly is if you are a resident, new or old, and you need a green bucket, please come and see Billy before you leave this room tonight. Okay, compost bucket, see Billy before you leave. Chris Harding has not gotten back to me on a date yet, and I think it's just because the CSOs are very short-handed right now. So I just keep going back and forth with him, and he'll come with a date, you know, soon for the veterans. Flu shots. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who came to get a shot on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever the hell days they were. I've lost count. It was one of the nicest operations we have had with vaccines since I came here. Everything went smoothly. People were quiet. We didn't have complainers in line. Things were, you know, a little bit frustrating, but everything just went really, really well. He had more people that needed flu shots than he knew. And so he didn't have enough flu shots with him. So he said, I'll be back here tomorrow. And so he completed a few more people that day with the other shots that were available. And then he came back yesterday after some horrendous traffic and finished everything up. I would really like to send an official thank you to him on behalf of our organization. He does a remarkable job, and he was by himself because more than half of his crew had COVID. So thanks to Jennifer on day one and myself, it just, everything went so smooth. And one thing I would like to talk about really quickly that I noticed throughout the day, you had an option to have X shots. I was shocked to find out how many of you, not necessarily you, but you, don't know what's in your medical record and don't know what you had and what you haven't had, and that you rely on somebody else to let you know. That is not a good thing. Make sure that you are, if you are access to my chart, that you opened up my chart and look to see what your immunizations have been. Thankfully, a pharmacist has access to a national register. So many people who wanted 3 shots needed 1. Some needed 2. Some who checked off they only wanted a flu shot had no idea that they needed 4 or 3. And I was really, all day long, it was the same thing. So please try to be more aware of what's in your medical record and don't rely on somebody else. Because you could be in a bad position and not know what you could actually answer before you crash out. But anyway, he will be back in 2 months for those people who received their first shingle shot. So on the second shingle shot, it's 2 to 6 months that you must have your second one. So he will be back in 2 months. And the COVID vaccine will be here prior to that. He has 350 doses coming, and we get them as soon as he has them in hand. He will call and give us the date. So, yeah, it's like, hello? It's kind of fading out, but it's okay.
Let me give you a point.
Okay. Seems to be like leaving the batteries going. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's much better. Okay, so anyway, So, and then if you need the other shots when he comes back, it'll be on the books also. But the COVID vaccine, if you are going to somewhere else to get your COVID vaccine because they're out there, make sure you are asking them if they are giving you a booster or are they giving you the new vaccine. Those are two different things. You have had the latest booster here. So what you want is the newest vaccine. And so make sure that that's what they're giving you. Okay. Just a caution. And until Sunday night, I didn't realize that this wasn't another booster. Yeah, bring your COVID vaccine card. But any pharmacist can look up the registry and he'll be able to look it up and everything else. But I said, if you're going out to get it, just ask that question. Wellness fair, springtime. Corn feed is on Sunday. Couple of things. Is Stephanie in the room?
No.
No, okay. So for those of you who are interested on Sunday morning of having fun about our corn feed, this is our 9th corn feed that we've done. By the way, I found the records. So the bus leaves at 8:30 in the morning. G. Paul will be taking us. We load up, we go out to Carpenitos, and we get there about the same time the corn comes in from the field. We shuck about 130 years of corn. And then we load it back up and we come back here and we're back here by about 9:30, quarter to 10. And then we start the hot water because it takes a while to get those pots going, believe me. And then, you know, it's just sloppy joes and corn and it's fun. So if you want to go and shuck corn in the morning, you need to be out front at 8:30 and it's a lot of fun and we laugh and shucking corn is a riot and you'll come home itchy and funny. It is fun. It is fun. And you get to go to Carpenitos. So if you get to do a little shopping, it's kind of fun. Judy.
What time is it?
The bus comes at 8:30.
AM?
8:30 a.m. to take the bus to Carpenitos to get the corn.
Got it.
We get fresh corn from the field that day.
Yeah.
Nothing that's been sitting on the store shelves for a week. The dessert auction is the 18th of October, and I am truly hoping that Alan is feeling good enough that he will be here for some levity. And I'm guessing he probably will. That's 3.5 weeks. So the 18th. Halloween party on the 31st. I'm not even thinking about Alan doing Halloween. If he wants to help, that's great. But Teresa will be your witch of the evening. Your music witch, your party witch, your whatever, the party director. So see Teresa if you want to help with Halloween, and we have tons of decorations and it's lots of fun. But she will be providing the music. Veterans Day will be on November the 11th as normal, and the bagpipes have been booked, so they will be here. And then we will write thank you notes to the veterans, serve cake and coffee, and maybe hear some stories from some of our vets. Sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't. It depends on whether they want to talk about their stories or not. Sometimes the stories are funny, sometimes they're poignant, and sometimes they're horrific. So whatever they want to do is what we will do. Craft fair is November 18th. I will be calling everybody in the morning and setting up the meeting. So things will be rolling on that. We will not be able to go to Tukwila. I did get a definite answer on that. I'll explain it at the meeting for everybody else. Thanksgiving dinner, I have contacted the caterer again. And somebody said they didn't want turkey pot pie. So we won't be having that again. And that's okay, but we will have turkey dinner. Block watch report, do we have one?
We just need to make sure that we keep calling the police for anything that happens from now on forever. The whole thing is that we did a really good job calling the police about gunshots and different things that we heard across the road over here. We've worked hard and we got it done. Now we need to keep doing it. So if there's loud noises, street racing, whatever, report it. Just continue to report it. And John?
Okay, yeah, Blackman has to be on. Building A does not have a block watch captain. The two people who were there who had it have either resigned or left. So we need to get the word out that that building needs block captains. I'm updating the contact list, so I do have more contacts, and I'll be sending that out. We did set up some brochure holders in the D lobby. So it really looks nice until somebody comes in and grabs them. But that we're just waiting to see. But we have like 8 or 9 brochures set up, so it's easy to grab.
Thank you for that. We'll get to some of these other reports in a minute. A couple things about from old business, the movie room furniture. The only thing they replaced were the 9 chairs that had actually been cut. So there's not going to be, 2 more rows of chairs taken out and 2 more rows of chairs brought in. Amazon locker, I haven't talked to Brian again yet, so I don't have an update on that. Pest control, an ongoing issue for too many of us. The entire A building was completely treated. All the hallways, everything, and then all of our carpets in our hallways were cleaned again this week after that treatment happened. Beyond that, I can't give you much more of an update, except to tell you that I know that the problem persons are being addressed according to the lease. The memorial bench. Hello, we have a proposal. Everything got okayed from the Boy Scouts. So I finally got the email for this yesterday. So I believe that we have to sign this somewhere. After, we read it thoroughly. It's not very complicated. But he got everything okay that he wanted, and we're paying for materials, and the other things that he needs are up to the Boy Scouts to help him with, like the tools and his meals and food that he needs when he's working here. And how he just, let me see if I can quickly find that's not what I'm looking for. Where is it? Oh, okay. So what he's asking for is he'll need wood for the bench, gravel for the surrounding area, native flowers to plant around the bench, concrete for making sure that it stays in the ground, and waterproof resin to make sure that it does not rot. So it's pretty much, and then, it's just a bunch of questions and answers they have to provide to the Boy Scouts. But all levels have signed off on his Eagle Scout project. So that's great, because that's where we wanted to go from the beginning as an Eagle Scout. So that's worked out a little later than we had planned, but nonetheless, we got what we asked for by the persons that we asked for. Police do have access to our camera footage, and I know some of it's been shared both from our cameras and from the security people. So I don't know how to answer the access for insurance purposes. I think if they can access it for any one of those groups, if you need it for an insurance case, I think that they have to provide it. If there's information available on a specific time and date that you can identify. But I'll try to get a further legal answer on that, but I'm pretty sure the answer is probably yes. This should have just come up under office supplies. How much are those? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. 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 We'll figure it out because we have got to do something anyway. Okay. So I'm trying to think if there's something else that I'm forgetting. I don't think so. The problem person that comes up in questions, I'll give you as quick a report as I can give you without giving you any more detail than I should. A group of us went to court for a hearing that we thought was different than what it was. The problem person got an extension everyone in court was getting an extension till December, and he was absolutely thrilled. But the magistrate obviously had read enough of his paperwork to understand that December was not acceptable, and we will all be back in court on October the 5th. And that will be the actual hearing for his exit. So that's what I can tell you about that. So if you need, if you have any attention from this person without naming them on the record, we all know who I'm talking about. Please report it to the security people. If you need to go beyond that to a police report, please do so and get a case number. Just don't put up with any crap. But his file is massive, and I think he's in for a little bit of a shock because he's been able to get away with a lot for a very long time. And I don't think that, I don't think I have anything else. We will be scheduling Medicare appointments. So we'll get those, so they will be on the calendar for October and November. So be sure you read your calendar for the next 2 months. If you need to talk to the Medicare person, the pages will be in the book. But we get the same people here. Anthony will be here, and Gene Christensen. You know, they've been coming for years, so many of you know who those two people are. So they will be here for you. Elections. Okay, and I have one volunteer. So I'm going to go directly to that. I have to name an election committee tonight. And Sue has elected or agreed to be the election chairman. So Sue, if you would stand up. Rosemary Perry has agreed to be the election person from building C. I need a volunteer from building D and a volunteer from building A for the committee. You are not going to be running for office in order to serve on this committee. So if you would like to volunteer tonight for that committee, that would be great. Loretta for building A, thank you. I need someone from building D. We will find somebody after tonight if there's nobody in the room that wants to do that. It's a very simple process. She will take nominations next month. The last 2 years, we've been able to do a white ballot, so it's been a very easy process. But for those people who are new, I hope you consider serving on this executive board going forward. You know, we've had this organization since 3 months of this building in operation. We have a really good, rich, working organization, and with a lot of good people who have served for a really long time. So it would be nice to see some new people. And so if you could talk to your neighbors and friends and encourage them, all offices are open: president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, sergeant at arms, and 2 building guides from each building. Very important jobs all the way around. And it's only a couple of hours out of your life in a whole month. We try to keep these meetings to an hour. We try to keep our board meetings to an hour. And so that's what your dedication is. And so it's not a lot to ask in return for everything that you get here. Who has their hand up besides Teresa?
Did you say that if you're on the committee, you cannot be nominated?
You cannot run for office and serve on the election committee. That's a conflict of interest. Yeah. So you just have to think about what you need to do. That's all. Yeah. Yeah. The election committee has to be completely separate. Judy.
It's completely unrelated to the election, but did I see or hear that the guy who's going to come from the city regarding?
We're going to get to that in a minute. Election, not to forget that. I wrote myself a note at the bottom of the page so I would not forget this tonight. Okay, so having said that, we will find a volunteer from building D and in the next day or so. And as soon as I have that person, I will let you know, and then I will provide you what you need. And the rest of that's up to you after we're completely out of the picture after that. Okay? It's actually pretty easy. It's a very simple committee, people. Yes, let's get to the big issue across the street. Originally okay, let's go back to a meeting with WashDOT. One of the things that they promised when they were done is that they would come back and have a follow-up meeting. That meeting was originally scheduled for next Monday, and it may be on the calendar. I can't remember, but I think so. But one person on the WashDOT team, and I don't know which one, had a death in their family, and they totally want to be here for this meeting. So they asked to please postpone it because they wanted to be here. I don't know which person it was. So it has taken us 4 days this week and a lot of emails back and forth for everybody to agree on the 16th of October at 12 noon. So we won't have 18 people here, but we will have a full house here for the follow-up to everything that happened across the street, what has transpired, how many people took housing, and many other questions will be answered. So I met with I met with the governor 2 Fridays ago. That was kind of fun. Because I didn't gush over everything. But anyway, yeah, I did tell him that I was very happy with everything that came out of our meeting as far as what both parties agreed to, what they would do, what we would accept, and things like that, that everybody kept to their word, and that we were all really grateful and thankful for that. But we were still not happy with how long that process took to be put in place, and that system is still very broken. And for people going forward where there are still encampments, probably worse than ours, they shouldn't have to go through what we did. So that was my conversation with the governor. And I talked to several people from his office, which was very helpful. And then I made arrangements hopefully for the governor to come here and have just a general meeting with us for no other purpose than he's the governor and we are his constituents. So I'm trying to get that done. Yeah. So anyway, I'm looking forward to the meeting, the follow-up meeting, and everybody getting their questions answered. And it'll be very interesting to listen to Nicole again, the resource person. Yeah, they did a lot of work there. It's going to take a long time for that property to recover from the damage that's been caused over there. But they're still going to want to talk about what will happen to that property in the future. So really think about what would you like to see happen to that property if you get to have any say in it. And I think that's an important action for us to take, and that if they're going to plan to do something with that property, that we continue to be included in that discussion. So that's what I know about that. And that's kind of where I am at the end of my report. So what I need is emergency committee report. Who would be doing that? Anybody? Do we have anything to report on the emergency committee, John?
Billy, can you refresh my memory? Have we done anything that we need to report?
Okay. Well, maybe after October 5th, life will come to normal with Jackie. I'm not sure. Okay. Ongoing issue. Old business did that. New business. Okay. 2 things under new business that I have, and if anybody else has any, we'll get to that. Joe, where are we we've already gone overboard on office supplies, but where are we exactly, please?
Office supply about 70 or $577.
We're $77 over.
$77 over the original.
Okay. You need to be. Yes. Okay. So my question, Joe, is where could we move some money for the time being? As it stands right now, we're probably going to be okay with our budget under Andrew's budget for materials, which is what we've agreed to pay for out of the $750, he's believing his costs for materials is only going to be about $425. And Joe asked a question because he thought maybe that money was dedicated in the budget, you know, from the original givers, and that's wasn't the case. The money was given to the AGRC. The decision was made by the AGRC about the bench being built. So any money that's left from that budget would just simply go back into our fund to do whatever we wanted with it, as long as we paid for what we all agreed to do, which was the bench. So, but right now we're going to have to see what Joe has to say. We're going to have to move some money because Billy needs ink before the end of the year. And we also need to buy, I'll get you, Teresa. And we're also going to have to buy some lubricant sheets for the shredder. And to also keep in mind that we have the dessert auction next month, so we have money coming. So I'm going to let Joe go from here.
Okay, so I've got one question. We've got $1,000 allocated for tech equipment, plus another $1,600 for tech equipment that's part of a grant. Are we going to use that, any amount of that $1,000 that's budgeted this year?
The only thing I know of. Yeah, the only thing I know of is the screen. When the screen comes in, that will trigger some other expenses. That is, until we have the screen, we have some ancillary things that we need, which I put in the original proposal. But none of those are critical. But the critical piece is the screen.
So what I'm guessing is, can we move $250 out of that 1,000 on a temporary basis?
Yeah, there's nothing pressing in that budget that we need to address right away.
Did you make that as a motion? Rather than share?
Okay, could you tell me what the motion is?
Yeah, move $250 to office supplies
From where?
from tech.
Make a motion to move $250 from the tech fund to the office fund.
Second, for any questions? All those in favor, if anyone opposed, hands up. Okay, thank you. So that's done. And you know, we'll only spend what we need, but that should get us through the end of the year. Ink has gone up, paper has gone up, it's horrendous. And it's going to be interesting putting next year's budget together if these prices remain the way they are. Okay.
The other thing, and I need permission from the body to use the debit card for the corn feed because my check did not arrive today. And I have to shop tomorrow and pay for the corn on Sunday. So that's what I would ask permission from the body to utilize the debit card. And then as soon as the check arrives, I just hand the check to Joe and deposit the money back.
So,
All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Happy eating. Any other, Sue, good of the order.
I have two things. First is to remind everybody there's flyers around. First is to remind everybody that food bank, which is normally next Thursday, will be next Tuesday. I've got flyers up in all the elevators. I've changed it on all the published calendars, but please remember it's Tuesday, normal time, 1:30 to 3, but Tuesday, not Thursday. Second thing is that as of Monday, everybody can request 4 free COVID tests from the government. It's COVID tests with an s.gov and put in a request and get 4 tests that we'll have moving forward.
And they come here about.
So that's COVID tests with an s.gov. Starting Monday? Yes. Starting Monday. And be sure that you keep, they're still saying they don't know what the expiration is on the previous tests, but do order new ones and keep them in chronological order. Okay, Judy.
That's what I wanted to know, if the old ones that I had, if they are still using.
They're still usable. They don't know exactly how they or when they expire. Is there some new information that I don't know?
I don't know if you don't know, but I do know that there is a website you can go to and you put in the lot number of your tests and it tells you what the new updated expiration date is.
Yeah, many of them have been updated on an ongoing basis. So if you have a box, look it up. Lot numbers on every single box. But, take advantage of free tests because, we live in an aging community, very common for us to have these things. We're very lucky to be vaccinated in the manner that we are here, and keeping ourselves as healthy as possible. But we just had a round of about 4 people having strep throat. Not a good thing in this community. So, let's try to keep things down and make sure if you don't feel well, close your door, use the phone if you need anything, we'll get it to you. But we would rather you stayed home and were well than come out and, make others ill. Not a good thing. So let's take care of ourselves. Anything else under good of the order? Have you got, who did the sheets, the sign-in sheet?
Francis was going to tell us about the new residents.
Yes, she is. Thank you.
We had a real good time. It was kind of crazy and it was very laid back and we didn't have a panel or anything, but people had information available to them and a lot of us spoke and gave them a brief overview of things. And then we visited and people would go from different places and visit with people to ask them questions we had a few that were questions that were on the floor, but for the most part, they would go and they'd visit with whoever it was that was over that area. And I know that I gave my card out to several people from other buildings that they didn't know who to go to and what to do. And I didn't have the contact information right with me. So I just said, give me a call and I'll get all the information to you. So there's still things going on and just be a good neighbor. Tell people, invite them to things and let them know the different things that we've got. I think that everybody agreed that we pretty much covered everything that we wanted to cover and got a lot of information out. So we're hoping to do it 2 or 3 times a year now, depending on how many new move-ins. So that we're not trying to prepare for 100 people that have been invited. We'll only be preparing for 30 or 40, which is a little more realistic.
Question.
Good news is, I'm sorry, John, go
I
ahead.
have a question. How many invitations did you send and how many people came?
We had 20 people that signed in. We sent out over 100 invitations.
And that's a normal turnout, to be perfectly honest. Normal response.
I lost my train of thought. It left the rail.
Some of the people that we invited, they've been here almost a year. So they found out most of this stuff already. And we didn't expect a big turnout for those people.
But it was good. So just to reiterate what Sue talked about, when you see your neighbors over the next 3 days, please remind them that food bank is on Tuesday, so they do not miss it. A lot of people, even that go in the elevator every day, don't bother to read what's on that board. So it will be very helpful to remind them to do that. And so with that, is Sue Woodbury in the room? I know she is. So Sue, can you give us a number between 1 and 25? Who is number? Marty Diedrichsen. Anything else under good of the order? Diana.
Good. I saw your hand.
One of the things that we've been noticing the last 3 days is there's no, water pressure in D building. So if you're in D building, probably,
Yeah.
It's been an issue too. I think it has to do with what's going on at the top of the hill, but I'm not sure, but we should be able to find out.
okay.
Yeah.
It's an issue in other buildings as
Yeah, it's
well?
an issue in my building on my
Oh.
floor.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we couldn't even take showers this morning. I mean, it was,
Oh, yeah. I think it has to do with whatever they're doing at the very top of the hill.
okay.
Yeah. Teresa.
So we're working on it. They've got two or three people look at it.
Oh, good.
So Jackie's on it.
Okay.
Well, that's good to know.
What she said?
She said that Mark said that Jackie's already been working on it. They've already talked to 2 or 3 people about it, so they're on top of it. But I still think it has to do with all that crap that's going on at the intersection at the top of the hill, which I thought was part of the construction company that's building Connor Homes and stuff, but it's not them. It's the city doing some stuff. The guy from Connor Homes, who I ran into at Patrick's Bakery, said that, they're putting a lot of stuff underground up in that intersection, and he thought that they were actually changing the intersection itself, but he's not sure. So maybe a major change coming to that intersection. Yeah.
They're also requesting, the city and county are also requesting that we cut back on our water usage because of drought conditions.
Well, yeah. I don't think we're contributing too much to the drought conditions, but we could be. So only take a bath once a day, you guys. No triple shower days. So Velma had her hand up and then you had your hand up, Kathy. I got you.
I'd like to know that the security is just because of the problem with.
Yes.
That's the only reason.
The answer to that question currently is yes. But that's not the plan going forward, by the way. Yeah. So the question was whether the security was temporary or permanent, and it is currently temporary, but the request has been made for permanent. Don't know how that will go. But in the meantime, it is what it is. Kathy.
Yes, I was wondering if we've got any luck on the waters fixing.
Nope, haven't found a new person at all. Nope, sadly, but Greg Galacci in the A building can come and check your walker, and if it needs a simple brake adjustment or a wheel change, he can do that. His payment is cherry Coke. So if you want to make arrangements for Greg, please give me a call. Okay? But he said he can do basic things like that, because sometimes the brakes just need to be adjusted. The wires are not where they belong, and tires can be changed. You can order new tires for any walker right on Amazon, and they're inexpensive, and you can get better tires than the original ones many times. But changing them is actually really, it's like lug nuts on a car. It's not too hard, but the brakes are a little different matter. But he says he can look at them, and if he can fix them, he will. Marty.
Does anyone know if bicycle shops can also do walker repair?
I don't know, but I know that, Angle Lake Cyclery is right up next to Young's Restaurant, and I've known Angle Lake Cyclery since I was a kid. I'll go in and ask them. Never thought about it but I will definitely go in and ask them.
Yeah,
And maybe if they can, they could come to us.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll ask. Absolutely. Kathy.
Yes, I thought about this a long time. John Walling does an awful lot for us. And I'm sure there's times when he needs help or might even be ill. Do we have anybody that supports him or that is learning all of these things from him? So that if you can't do it.
Let's let John answer that question.
Not at this time. I do bring it up occasionally. I say, if someone has the inclination that they could be like my backup. There are certain things that are not that difficult. This probably is a little over most people's heads, but minimally, someone could provide this support. Because this is almost a 10-minute lesson. And then from there, it could go up in terms of learning new things. But yeah, if you know somebody who has a some inclination for technical aptitude, they can contact me and we can have a discussion about it.
Thank you. Anyone else under good of the order? Then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So much.
All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Have a lovely evening. If you need a green bucket, don't leave without seeing her, and Teresa, don't leave without talking to her. Yeah, they did.